Ladies, gentlemen, dogs, cats, fish, hamsters, seagulls, lifeguards. I am Josh Samuel, the greatest of the greatest, next to the legendary auteur filmmaker Zack Snyder, next to you all in the movement, next to these two brothers I have on the line. It's been a very long time, so I decided I wanted to give the introductions. Hailing from the Chi town, the Chi city, the Chi where it's always windy and the pizza melts on your lips, we got none other than my brother Jibril Ramsey. On the right,
Yo, what's up?
hailing from Charleston, one of the greatest brothers in the movement, a brother who says things I haven't heard, a brother with the most diabolical laugh I've ever heard. His name is Brother Pilly Swain.
Yes, sir.
And we're about to talk about the Snyder Cut, because ain't no time like now. Now, brothers, man, both of you all, I really gotta applaud you both. You all have both, stood by your views passionately in some of the toughest circumstances, whether that be on social media for you, brother Jibril, or whether that be on YouTube for you, brother Pilly.
Yep.
Brother Jibril, I'll start with you, man.
What's up?
How do you feel? What do you believe the last few days has said about the Snyder Cut movement as a whole?
We are so strong.
Mm.
And like I said on Twitter, and like I said in every podcast, the key is being united,
Mm-hmm.
and working together, and just keep pushing and keep striving, and we'll win. And this movement is immensely strong, and it's incredible. It's so incredible. This movement is badass.
I feel you. Brother Pilly, man, what do you believe the last few days has said about the Snyder Cut movement as a whole? Because you've been in some situations, you and I have talked behind the scenes, not too many people realize that. And you've had to engage with some individuals, and you've done it regardless of what people have had to say and regardless of what has been said. You're just a doer. What do you believe the last few days have said about the movement as a whole, man?
Oh man, it's like Jibril said, man. We're really strong. It made us. We had to flex our muscle a little bit, and it worked. Each day we try to come out and we try to hit a target, and we try to train every day, and we've been succeeding for the past 3 days.
Okay, I agree. And again, like you both said, unity is the biggest thing. That's what Zack's movies have inspired. That's what Man of Steel, BVS, and his version of Justice League has inspired. I want to talk a little bit about Justice League, obviously. Now, brother Pilly, I'll start with you, man, because this is something else that you've touched on in times past. Now, we know about WB, we know about Suicide Squad, we know about BVS, we know about Justice League, unfortunately, for little kids especially, unfortunately for them, having to see Jawbreaker Titanium Face Superman. You know what I'm saying? We know about the interference. What many people don't seem to understand is just how severe the interference actually was, how blatantly disrespectful it was, not just to the fans, but to the man himself and his family and the cast and crew. Let the viewers, the new viewers and the viewers old, know about the interference, brother.
All right. Well, if like you've been a fan of Zack Snyder, it seems like he always has some negative press, no matter what he does, And it seems like people just want to hate on him for no reason. But with the DCEU, or the DC Extended Universe, he started off with Man of Steel, and it was, I think the movie was good. I think it was real good. It had a lot of people in there. It had Kevin Costner, Lawrence Fishburne. It had a lot of people in there. And I think what everybody was looking for off the rip is for him to be something like Marvel Studios. But he wasn't anything like Marvel. Marvel is like a Disney, and they're made by committee. There's a lot of rules on what you can and cannot do, and this, that, or the other. But Zack Snyder had, like, Christopher Nolan kind of in the backgrounds to protect him, right? So pretty much he can do whatever he wanted to do within reason at that time. And then he made a decision to kill Zod at the end, remember? And everybody started getting mad at him about that. Then BVS came out, and you can start seeing a little bit of more this is how you can really tell when something was going on. The media starts to be real biased against you, and it always starts in the media first. But so then you started seeing they wanted him to lighten up the tone of Batman vs Superman. They didn't want it to be a versus movie. They didn't want them to fight each other. So he had to explain it was just Batman v Superman, and they did have a fight, but eventually they came together. But throughout that time, they were pressuring him so much, he instantly started doing Justice League. I guess it looked like he was just trying to squeeze out everything before the pressure got too heavy on him. So he started doing Justice League, and they wanted them pressure, but at that time, he had some people like Jeff Johns close to him, and Jeff Johns wanted him to lighten it up and be more like Disney, Marvel. I think they were planning a crossover. I don't know for sure, but he wanted it to be something like Marvel. So there was a tragedy in the family. Excuse me. I don't know what happened with that situation, but, maybe Zach was under a lot of stress, and he left the situation, which caused them to bring in Joss Whedon from the Avengers movies, another Disney implant. And when that happened, there was a cutoff line of November 2017 where they were trying to squeeze in a bonus, and they were trying to make a lot of money before they got fired, because AT&T was coming in and was probably going to switch a lot of director seats and executive roles. So they were trying to make that money and that bonus before AT&T came in. So they didn't wait for Zack Snyder to come back, and they went on with the movie. They had a bunch of reshoots that cost a lot of money, and the reshoots turned out to suck. Everything started going bad for Ben Affleck. Was heavier. Henry Cavill had a mustache. Everything was going bad. So then after that happened, the fans just had enough of it, because the movie that came out, Justice League, wasn't what was advertised. It wasn't a Zack Snyder movie. It wasn't even cool. It wasn't anything. So it's been an ongoing battle ever since then, since November 2017, to get the original script of Justice League out. And so we've been, me, Jibril, you, others, we've been in an ongoing battle to get the real version of Justice League out. And at first, we had a lot of people to fight. We had a shit ton of people to fight. But right now, it seems like we're stronger than ever. It seems like we have a lot of backing now. Zach is, heavy in it. Zach has another movie coming out, so he's going to get a lot of good press pretty soon. But it feels to me like we're about to get it soon, and it's good timing, because if they come out again with the bad press, we know how to beat their ass now, So that's where we're at. That's everything in a nutshell.
I hear you. Brother Jibril, I'm gonna go to you, man.
What's up?
What's your thought, man, on all the interference and all the stuff that not everybody is aware of that went on behind the scenes of Justice League, which ended up being Justice League featuring titanium face, flubber face Superman?
Absolutely disgusting.
Yeah.
It's disgusting. The following, you let a snake in. There's a reason why. There's a reason why. Like we said, on Man of Steel, we had Chris Nolan there to protect Zack and to protect his vision. Because like Chris, he understands the importance of character, story, depth, emotion, and he puts all that before like the comic stuff, but still makes it very interesting and also very entertaining. So Chris, at the time was a producer to keep execs committee to basically keep him on a leash so that Zack can have his vision, so he be protected. And then once Man of Steel comes out, it's successful. It's actually the highest grossing Superman film. That's cool. And then BVS comes out, and then also success. But then then media, it's too dark. It's not fun. It's not Marvel. They should have solos before they fight. There's no color. So all that bullshit. And then Warner Bros. Listen to the critics and the Disney biased media, and then they fuck up Justice League and Suicide Squad. So instead of being these grand, epic, and dark, mythic tales, Suicide Squad, that turned out to be rainbow fun. And then Justice League was, that's fucking horrifying. That's disgusting. What? Literally, shit happens and then nothing happens. It's bizarre. It's so bizarre. Oh my god, it's so cringe. Remember in Justice League when Batman confronts the robber on the rooftop, and then that man fights the parademon, and the rock. Oh god, his dialogue was awful. It's so he's like, what is that? Is it out of space? Like some. Oh god, it was disgusting. It was absolutely disgusting.
Yeah.
It was bad. It wasn't Zack Snyder at all,
Hell no. And then the color. That whole
Red Russian
battle. That red. It was gross to look at. It was absolutely disgusting. Like, what the fuck is going on?
It kind of looked like they purposely fucked it up,
Yeah.
They did. It was on purpose.
Yeah, it looked like they did it on purpose, like they wanted to smear Zack Snyder. That's what it looks like to me. It was a smear job.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So, so all in all, a very disgusting experience throughout all of this turmoil.
Yeah.
Right.
That's my take, yeah.
And then to add to that, you learn that Suicide Squad was apparently supposed to tie into this with Steppenwolf, as well as, David Ayer's version of Suicide Squad was a lot, grittier, a lot more heavy, and a lot darker. You know what I'm saying? But moving on, brothers, appreciate y'all's responses. Now, there was a movie that recently came out last month Joker. Starred a gentleman by the name of Joaquin Phoenix, directed by Todd Phillips. Also starred Zazie Beetz. Extreme shout out to Miss Zazie Beetz. I need to slide in her DMs. But she the movie was really, really good. It delivered like I said it would. And I know you brothers remember that weekend Zach did something really, really big on Vero. He revealed that Harry Lennox's General Swanwick was indeed Martian Manhunter. And I was just like, hell yeah, Zach. Just keep on doing it, man. Like, he literally doesn't give a fuck. This is his movie. He wants to give it to the fans. Hell yeah, I'm all for it. Brother Pilly, man, I'll start with you, man. What did you think about the Martian Manhunter reveal that weekend, brother?
I loved it because, I mean, that weekend, like you said, we were kind of seeing the same shit that we saw with BVS. They were trying to shit on Joker, saying it was too dark, too scary, too violent, and blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm.
And back then, that worked. You know, back then, everybody believed Rotten Tomatoes. We fell for it. But right now, we didn't fall for it. We went to see it anyway, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So, but on top of that, with the General Swanwick, I loved it, man. You know, I loved it. If you want to, like we really talk deep and shit. Mm-hmm. Well, I talk deep a lot of times, but like he had a Martian in the military, in the U.S. military, who looks like a black dude, you know? It was amazing to me. I loved it, but I think people were already talking about that before, right?
Yeah.
He just never revealed it as to be true, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It was a long time fan theory.
Right. And that's, see, I think Zach, the problem they had with him, he was saying a lot, you know. He was saying, you know, when Zod came in and they did the, like, "you are not alone" speech, you know, shit like that. He's artistically telling you there's aliens around you, you know, or some shit like that. He's artistically telling us that life might not be what we think it is, you know. And a lot of times in America or around the world, we're just not ready to hear shit like that. You know, we're really not ready for that type of life. So I could see when they say it, you know, they say his movies were too scary, or, you know, he said he could have people running out in the streets and screaming. You know? I think he can, because he knows a lot of shit. You know, you can tell Zach is smart as fuck.
Yeah.
So then when you put like Martian Manhunter was disguising himself as a damn general in the U.S. military, and you know, then you put Superman as alien also, but you know, that's what he stuck with. He didn't make it just like Superman was some guy from Kansas. He was literally making it like he was an alien on the planet. And Zod had an alien invasion. It wasn't just some super dude that showed up and was really strong. It actually looked like an alien invasion. So when you get, you know, when you start turning into real life situations like that, a lot of times people aren't ready for that, especially if it has something to do with Superman. Like if it was War of the Worlds and an alien invasion movie, then we'll be okay with it. But when it has something to do with Superman and he makes Superman like an alien invasion movie at the same time, I think that's where people behind the scenes got a little weary, because now you got a audience of like 1 billion people all over the world, and you can tell them some real scary shit at the same time. You know? And I think they didn't want to do that because Marvel was doing it, but Marvel was making it like jokes, you know, like, oh, there's an alien invasion in New York, but we got the Hulk, you know. There's just some little stupid shit like that. But it
There's a
wasn't,
party.
yeah.
There's a party.
Right, exactly. That's how Marvel was doing it, and I think that's what the execs thought people could handle. I don't think the execs thought people could handle, oh, you are not alone, I am General Zod type shit, you know? and I think Zack was just ahead of his time, man. I think if it comes out right now, like we see with the Joker, the media talk shit about Joker, but we didn't really believe the media, and we went and saw it. Back then, we believed everything the media said. Back then, we believed everything Rotten Tomatoes said. But Zack was ahead of his time. He knew what we needed. We just didn't know what we needed. But now we see how much we needed it, you know? Now we see that, damn, we really need this type of shit, you know?
Yeah. God damn.
He's just way ahead of his time, man. That dude is smart. When you really watch this shit and you sit down and watch it, that dude is really smart, man.
Yeah, that's crazy, bro. Like, first of all, bravo, man. Bravo, brother. I appreciate that analysis, but it's I do, man. Like, it's crazy you saying all this, bro, because I think about these, like, if it's Watchmen, BVS, and brother Jibril, man, you and I did a vid on Sucker Punch, man. Even something like that, like, from time to time, I just sit back and think about the themes or it, you know, like certain images in the movie, and I'm like, damn, he's saying a whole lot with this scene or this quote or this moment in this movie. He's really saying a whole lot, and as I've said many times before, you just don't get that with a whole lot of other films, specifically MCU films. You dig what I'm saying?
So, right. Think about this. Sorry, Jibril, I didn't want to interrupt you. Think about this real quick, though. That scene when you first see Batman in BVS, and he's hiding out in the building in Gotham, and there's like a lot of Chinese women locked up downstairs, and they're like, you know, oh my God, there's something here. You know, we see the Batman, and they didn't want to get out of the cage. When the police people came, they was like, no, just keep the door shut, right? But when you now look at really what that is, all of those women are sex slaves. That's human trafficking, you know? Now that's big in the media, 2019, but in 2017, nobody even knew what the hell that was. They were just like, why are all those Chinese women in there? You know, you didn't even know what Zack Snyder was doing, but when you look at it now, it's like, oh shit, now everybody's talking about sex trafficking, human trafficking. And then when you put that in a movie with the two biggest iconic heroes in the world, that's something that Zack Snyder was doing. You know, he's putting these huge topics connected with the two biggest icons you can ever imagine. You know, Batman and Superman. So then that's the part, because now you see a lot of these rich executives in Hollywood are getting caught with human trafficking and sex trafficking and all this other bullshit. So it's like those same execs, they're tied into Warner Brothers, Disney, they're tied into everything. All of it is all connected. So when those rich guys see something like that, they're like, oh no, hell no, we can't have this shit in our movie. You know, like all the shit that they made them change out of Justice League, they made them take the Nazi paraphernalia away from, I think Cyborg landed in the camp at the time, and they had a bunch of Nazi flags. But in real life, in the 40s or right after World War II, it said that the Nazis had all this technology that they hid away, this super technology. So, of course, Cyborg will be the one to find the super technology in real life. And, of course, it will still have the Nazi shit. But the big executives don't want the masses to know shit like that. You know, because they're like, damn, we had space travel, time travel, all this other free energy, crazy shit like that. We had that since the 40s, you know, but they don't want you to know shit like that. Like Nikola Tesla was doing free energy back then, and we're still on gas cars, you know, oil and gas cars, because the big bosses don't want us to know about shit that we really, really have. Zack Snyder, he's telling you large ideas with large characters. And most of the time, the people, the big wigs, don't want the masses to know shit like that. know?
The top 1%.
Correct.
Yeah. I feel
They
you.
want us to just be
Sheep.
like eating burgers and watching Marvel. That's it.
Yeah. Damn. Damn.
It's the truth, man. I hate to say it like that, but Zach was he's just too far ahead of this, ahead of his time. We have to catch up to him, you know? Yeah, seriously.
God. Well, brother Jibril, man. With all that said, brother, what did you think about the Martian Manhunter reveal on Joker weekend, man?
Holy shit, that was awesome. And actually to add to what Police said, I'm sure you guys heard of the quote, "Truth is stranger than fiction."
Oh yeah.
And like we said, Zach was telling a lot of hidden truths, a lot of he puts he's Zach's very subtle in his art, so he puts a lot of messages and double meanings into his films, and DC has always been risque. They've always done risky topics, and Zach just continued that tradition and that thread of going deeper, exploring very human troubles, hopes, and very human needs and wants and desires, and also very human evil and wickedness. So Zach is just continuing that thread of exploring these abstracts and grand ideas with these larger than life icons, and that's impressive. That's amazing. That's what we need. Yeah, like you said, powerful art can bring about true change, positive change, and awareness to real issues.
Yep.
Like Aquaman deals with pollution in the ocean. Wonder Woman, she's a feminist. Well, women's rights. Cyborg, he's a black character with a disability. So, and then Flash, he's just he's the outcast. There's many topics at play here, and Zach weaves through them with immense and immaculate detail to it, and that's incredible and outstanding.
Yeah.
Right. It is. And to piggyback on that a little bit, look at like what we didn't see from Cyborg. He was supposed to be the heart and soul of Justice League, and the big execs, they cut him out just to put some Russian family in there. But when you think about it, look at Cyborg. All right, he's the perfect one to talk about because we're all black men right here, right? Cyborg comes from a broken family, but think about this. He was experimented on by the government or by, some secret agency. And if you know anything about history, like the Tuskegee experiment, with black people given syphilis just to see how it was spread through their neighborhood, we were also experimented on. We're still experimented on. But also, he was one of the most powerful because Zach's telling us we are one of the most powerful people. Look what we did with Popeye's Chicken or Mercedes-Benz or anything that we want or we put our focus on, we just blow it up, to be like something huge. Like black people, we are so much more powerful than we think.
Yeah.
But, look at how he played it. Like Cyborg, he kind of had like PTSD. He didn't want to fight at first, you know. He was like walking around with a hoodie on, and he didn't want to be seen. That's us, you know. We walk around with a hoodie on, and we're kind of like, you know, we're afraid to be a part of the crew because we don't know if the crew really gonna accept us, you know. We've been fucked over so many times. We kind of want to just chill by ourselves, you know.
Facts.
But we got immense power when we get going, you know. That's what Zack Snyder was telling us. And you see, the execs took that shit out because why? Those guys don't want the black male or black people to see how strong we really are, you know, because they like us doing dumb shit like buying all the Popeyes chicken sandwiches, you know, but they don't like us coming together and making our own Popeyes, you know, or some shit like that.
Right.
You know, so see, Zack Snyder, he's telling us with every character, he's telling you shit that's deep, you know, and Wonder Woman, she has mother issues as a kid. She grows up to kind of run away and just search for love, you know, and that's what Disney wants you to do, you know. Think about Disney. All of their kids, their daughters have evil stepmothers. They don't even have their mother, you know, and they all run away chasing the prince, you know. That's what Wonder Woman did. But then she figured out that shit was kind of fucked up, you know, but there's storylines in all of this shit. Superman, he's an outcast. He's walking around like a hobo. He don't know what to do, but he's immensely strong also. But you know, he doesn't want to flex his own strength because he might think he hurt everybody. Or even look at Suicide Squad. Will Smith, baby mama issues, you know, kid issues, and you know, he run back and forth through prison and doing crazy shit. You know, it's so much themes in these DC characters that the people that was involved, executives in DC, I don't think they wanted to let these things out. But the directors that was chosen, David Ayer and Zack Snyder, they know everything from street level to high level, so they can reach from black people on the street or Mexicans, essays like the dude, the fire dude, and Diablo, and you know, David Ayer and Zack Snyder, they know shit. They can reach. They relate to almost everybody, so they can put almost everybody's story into one of these characters instead of having like a little jokey Loki running around with a Hulk that's just like, oh, Hulk smash, and you know, that's easy shit to do. There's no depth involved in that shit. But DC, on the other hand, is so deep, man. It's real deep. And when you match it with these iconic characters, you got a chance to take over the world, man. You have a chance to do that. Disney didn't want that to happen, and I don't think some executives in DC wanted that to happen because it would be too liberating. It will liberate everybody. Diablo, the Mexicans, the essays, the white boys, Cyborg, the black dudes, Wonder Woman, the lost girls with mama issues. It will liberate everybody, dog. Think about everybody that these movies could have touched. That's why we're so strong, because the Spartans and the Parademons and the Amazon, we are all these characters. We are all these people. You know, we're relating to this shit. We're not relating to damn Black Widow or fucking Russian assassin. You know, it's bullshit. We don't get, none of us are that. You know what I mean?
Oh, Lord. I'm sorry, brother. Keep going, brother, please. I'm sorry, brother.
But I'm just saying, that's just it, man. That's just it. DC is just something different, dog.
It really is.
Something totally different. And we can relate to it. That's why the big outroar was like, what the fuck did you just do to Justice League, dog? We was waiting to see this like our whole damn lives. What did you just do? That's the outroar, because we don't relate to the Disney version of Justice League. We relate to that real shit.
Exactly.
And that's what we're crying out for, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, and to add to what you said about Cyborg, as many black people, we like yeah, it's like the first time we see Cyborg, he wants to stay hidden. He's always isolated, but he has these these immense talents that could be put to use for good. He can be with the big boys and girls. You know, and then we as black folks, we have so much talent.
Yes.
That there's not a venue, or we don't see a venue that we can use it towards, but we can. We just had to get out there, be bold, and come together. And we are powerful than we think we are.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
That's my piece on that. So.
Damn. It's crazy. It's crazy we're talking about that, because that's actually the next thing I wanted to talk about. Is something we've all touched on in the past, whether it's been in my videos, I've seen you touch on it in your videos, Pilly, and you and I have talked about it as well, Brother Jibril. Brother Jibril, man, I'll start with you. Man, there's something that really needs to be, that Zach doesn't get enough, among the many things he doesn't get enough credit for as a filmmaker, is him choosing to diversify his films. I'm gonna use this movie as an example on the Disney side. Star Wars, the new Disney Wars, whatever you want to call it. They included my guy from my Nigerian brother from the UK, John Boyega. We got the same size head and everything, so that's my brother. But me being a African American, I was like, damn, we about to have a black Jedi after Samuel L. Jackson. We about to have a fucking black Jedi. You see him with the lightsaber in the initial posters. You're amped to see the movie. Go see the movie. And me seeing the movie, for example, I'm like, okay, I like Finn, but they're just using him as comic relief, like they do with Tyrese Gibson. They're just using him as comic relief. He's not really showing his, blackness. He's just running around the galaxy yelling, right, and I'm like, that's cool, but I want to see him be a brother, stand up and fight. You know what I'm saying? And with Zach, whether it's with Aquaman, whether it's with what we know Cyborg is going to be, whether it's with General Swanwick, whether it's with a movie like Sucker Punch, not just with the women, but the cast itself, Zach really does diversify his films, man. And I want to get your thought on it first, brother Jibril. What you think about the diversity in Zach's films, man?
Yeah, no, see, for Zach, diversity is just natural. Like, it's always been part of his life. So he definitely puts it at the forefront through his films, and it's not just for diversity's sake. It's not just
right.
It's not just it's not ham-fisted. Like, so it's not so for Zach it's more genuine than, say, Disney, like a Finn, where he's cool, but you want to see him in action, wants to be a badass, not just being just some funny sidekick. Which for DC, they have these diverse characters, like Cyborg, African American, Wonder Woman, she's Israeli.
Mm-hmm.
The Flash, she's part of the LGBT, the LGBT community, and unlike Disney, they have the Falcon, War Machine, let's say a Falcon, War Machine, and who else do they have? That's
Samuel Jackson's in there.
Oh shit, yeah. Oh yeah. See, that's an issue, because See,
they're forgettable.
they're exactly.
Yeah.
See,
Right.
see with their
They're jokey.
Yeah.
co-stars, they're not they're not fully fledged characters. They're not made to be interesting. They're just there to add more to the team or to add quote unquote diversity. But they're not full fledged characters. Like DC, Cyborg is in. Oh, and also we know that Zack was going to make because Ray Fisher, the actor for Cyborg, said Zack was going to plan on making Cyborg the most powerful metahuman to ever walk the planet.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, he's gonna make this black character who's unfortunately less popular, unknown to most fans, except for Teen Titans and other media. But he's gonna make Cyborg like a main staple, like a main staple. And also with the original plans way back, not only will Cyborg have been a main staple, he's also going to have a part in Rick Fuyama's The Flash solo, until that didn't happen, unfortunately. But with Zack, he was making this character a powerful badass of color, and that's amazing. That's what we need. That's what we need. So diversity is always a plus in Zack's film. It's always there. It's always genuine, earnest, and natural. So yeah.
Brother Pilly, we're ready, brother. What? What? What's your thought on the? And you really touched on it earlier, man. What's your thought on the diversity Zack does in his films, man?
Man, I love it, man. Just think like his first zombie movie, he had Vin Rames in there. You know, he had but Zack, you can tell he's like a people's person, or I don't want to say he's a street dude, but
he's genuine.
He knows shit like that. It feels like it, but not only that, Ray Fisher, he had Lawrence Fishburne in there. You know, he was the boss at the Daily Planet, and he had it wasn't no bullshit role. It wasn't like, hey, come in my office. What the fuck did you do that? You know, he had a decent role. You know, he had a real good role in Man of Steel. And then you have General Strongwick. But see, think about this. There's either Cyborg in Justice League or there's Martian Manhunter. We were about to get both of them, and both of them were black. You know?
Exactly.
Not only you had them two, you had Lawrence Fishburne, then you have another, I forget the Chinese character's name, who worked in the
Ryan Choi.
He worked in
Star Labs.
Right.
The Atom.
Right.
Choi.
Right, exactly. That's more diversity. But then, even if you want to look at it on a smaller level, I remember watching Man of Steel when Superman saved the oil rig, and then he walked in and the guy had on Mexican dude had on a blue bandana, and then he had the two tattoo teardrops on the side of his face, and I was like, oh shit. Like, why would a director cast a straight gangster in that bitch like that? Because that's who works on those oil rigs. These dudes that just had a life in the streets, and now they've fucking got one more chance left, And, when you look at Zack Snyder, his casting is amazing. I think that's one of the best parts about it, how he casts. But he doesn't want to really stick to the... All right, perfect example. Cyborg's scenes were mostly cut out, and what was added, we figure out later, was a Russian family with bug spray or some bullshit like that.
That's so stupid, bro. Like, who decided to do this shit?
Oh my god, that was so damn stupid.
That was crazy. Like, Ray Fisher is a Broadway actor. You're gonna replace his scenes with some fucking
Russian family,
Russian people.
Yeah.
You know? That don't even make no sense. That means you're lowering the movie. You take out a Broadway actor who's actually a member of the Justice League. These Russian people, they didn't even talk, and they fucking not even in the Justice League. They couldn't do shit. So what was the point of erasing his scenes and adding their scenes into it? Because right, exactly. It's like, man, is really, you want to say they did it on purpose? They lowered the movie's quality on purpose, but on top of that, it was, you don't want to pull like the race card or anything like that, but goddamn, dog, like
that's
that
awful.
Shit right there was a little obvious, you know. That was like, damn, one of the great. Not saying like, you know, the other ones ain't good actors, but Ray Fisher is top level actor. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
Ben Affleck is top level actor. Ray Fisher, to go on fucking Broadway, you have to be the highest of the highest level actors. Ray Fisher is one of them. You replace his scenes with somebody who's really, they're like extra level. I don't even know who those guys were.
That's
like,
what I'm saying.
You know, like, why do that? Because the executives, or I don't know, Joss Whedon, or I don't know who made that call, but you know they're not as progressive as Zack Snyder, you know?
Right.
So then, or they're not racist, I wouldn't even call them racist, but to know what Zack Snyder was doing compared to what was done, it just is, like I said, it's kudos to him again, you know, because, you know, all right, talk about Lawrence Fishburne. He was in Boys in the Hood. He was in Matrix. You know, everybody knows him. Everybody in the black community. He's like a father figure in Boys in the Hood.
Right.
He's like a father figure to most people that I know, the boys that really grew up in the hood. Lawrence Fishburne is what we didn't have back then, you know, like a real father figure.
Right.
For Zack Snyder to cast him in this movie, it's like, oh shit, that's Morpheus. You know what I mean? He's more than just a black dude, you know, but he could have been anybody. It could have been a white dude in that role, you know, it could have been anybody, but it's kudos to Zack Snyder for doing that. So when you don't have that level of director, or you don't have that level of people pulling the strings and agreeing to that, you get less than. Like, black people, we're good at a lot of shit, and entertainment is probably, we're the best at entertainment. You know, we can dance, sing, play basketball, act, play sports. We can do all of that shit.
Right.
So people got to give us a shot, and we're more than just comic relief. You know, like John Boyega, he running around. That bitch, he couldn't fight. All he can do is run and make jokes. That's it. And it's like everybody around him can fight. Even BB-8 can fucking fight. John Boyega can't fight. You know, it's like, god damn, dog. Like, are we ever gonna get somebody to stand up and be real? We had Cyborg, we had a shot, and they took him out for the Russians with bug spray. That shit just don't make no sense.
It don't.
Unless you purposely trying to fuck it up, or you purposely want to shit on black folks, or you purposely don't want us to see our potential. Either or, it's fucked up, you know.
And then when Finn tries to fight, he got knocked out easily. By Kylo.
No, remember a stormtrooper beat his ass at first. Remember when the stormtrooper put out a lightsaber? He was scared since the first scene. He was a bitch since the first scene. Oh, I can't do this. It's so scary. Man, tighten the fuck up, dog.
Oh my god. Oh lord.
You know, to add to the whole to add to what you said about, you know, being racist, you know, Jeff Johns, he actually has a very, very ongoing issue with Jon Stewart, or AKA
Oh, right.
Intern.
Talk that talk, brother.
Yeah. No, keep going. You're on point right now.
Jeff does not like John at all. For some odd reason, he just writes him out or just reduces him to a side character, if that, because he's obsessed with the rest of the Lanterns, like Hal, Kyle, Guy. But for some reason, he despises John Stewart, and at the time, Jeff Johns was mistakenly given the role and credit of Chief Creative Officer at DC. So so it's not far-fetched to say that Jeff Johns is a racist bitch, because he doesn't like.
Oh my god.
He doesn't like John Stewart. He cut all of Cyborg scenes. And also, in the comics, Cyborg actually had his dick back, because he's all machine, but the one part was actually untouched until some asshole decided, oh no, let's make them all machine again, so he can't reproduce. So that's all.
That's some real shit, though. That's some real shit.
Mm-hmm.
Damn.
They took Victor's dick again, so that sucks. And then he also hates Batman in Justice League. Batman was such a lame ass.
God damn.
He gets thrown around by parademons. He gets thrown around, thrashed, punched. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, so we all thought we're gonna see Bruce Wayne throw down on some parademons from the trailer. So when that part comes up, when he hops over the railing, flies in his bat form, so we're like, okay, cool, about to see Batman kick some ass, and then no, so he does one little chop, and then gets thrown around by her demon, and then gets thrown around again. I'm like,
I think I'm bleeding.
Where's the badass? The fights, like what happened? Where's the badass fights? Where's the warehouse?
Exactly.
That Zack said we're gonna get, and it wasn't there. He just gets thrown around, and oh god, it was awful.
You're right, man. You're right. And Batman, even in BVS, Batman, the first fight, he beat the shit out of Superman. But if you look at it, Batman, with enough prep time, he can probably beat up anybody. You can put. If he preps for a fight, he has a way in and a way out, and he has a way to beat you. He knows your weaknesses, blah blah blah. But in Justice League, Batman was crap. He didn't. He looked. It was just. I don't know, man. It was a Marvel movie. It definitely was a Marvel movie with DC characters.
Yeah. In the reshoots, you can tell Ben was going to see that really gets under my skin, because during the reshoots, Ben was having a really rough time with alcoholism and his home life. I'm like, that's fucked up to do.
Yeah.
To one of the greatest actors like that. That's fucking. First of all, that's very fucking destructive as hell, and it's disgusting. I'm like, poor Ben. Like you can tell during the press interviews and the press circus, he was just he was just so
he was just sitting there. He was just sitting there staring off into space.
I'm like, oh, poor baby. I'm like, poor Ben.
Yeah, it was sad. But he was the best Batman, and they say his script is the best Batman script they've ever read also.
Yeah.
Yep, that's right.
But yeah, that I would love to see another warehouse scene from Batman, because that warehouse scene even set him apart from Christopher Nolan's Batman.
Yeah.
Because
oh my god, that was
Christopher Nolan's
awesome.
Batman. Right. He could. Christopher Nolan's Batman. It really, the choreographed fights wasn't even that good. You know, it was just like
elbow fighting
and like blocking with the elbows.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
And then saying, "Where are they?"
Right. But that warehouse scene, that shit was fucking Batman, you know?
Yeah.
They're looking down and he's up and oh my god, that shit was just crazy. But that's Zack Snyder. Everything we're talking about is kudos to Zack Snyder.
Yep.
So it's just like, or, you know, we can even kudos to David Ayer. We know we would have seen a good Suicide Squad if David Ayer was in there.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
If only they would have not fucked with his vision and then had a fucking trailer company cut up his film.
Right. See, I guess what we're looking at, we got two cool directors that was cool with everyone, you know? Cool with blacks, Mexicans, white, Latinos,
Exactly.
you know, Israeli, everyone.
The quote-unquote everyman.
Everyman, right. And you have these people who are probably just jealous of them. And these people who were probably just like Jeff Johns, who probably ain't cool with everybody, you know? And he was just like, no, we can't do that. We can't do that. But what it really is boiled down to is they're probably jealous of Zach and David.
Yeah.
And then, you know, they tried to flex whatever little muscle they thought they had, you know? And they flexed it. But we come up because he's cool with everybody. Everybody comes up to his rescue, you know, to his defense. They're like, nah, fuck that. Jeff Johns, you're corny compared to Zack Snyder. Get the fuck out of here. Your little mission failed, you know? So that's what basically that's why we're talking right now, because we came to Zack's defense, and I don't think they expected that shit, you know?
They
exactly. The one. Sorry to cut you off, Josh.
No, you're good.
The one thing, like we said, the one thing they didn't expect, they didn't see coming, or that they underestimated was the power of Zack's fan base, because you know, during that time of like the early days of 2013 through 2016, they're like, oh, okay, you know, Zack has a fan base, but they're small, they're relevant. They like, you know, they really don't have much saying power or staying power. So, you know, we can, yeah, so doing Justice League, yeah, you know, we can bring in Joss Whedon, bring in that bitch Danny Elfman, the one Batman thing. Get the fuck out of here with that bullshit. That was so fucking gross. I'm like, gross. But yeah, they brought these people in, or Jeff and Toby brought these people in. Like, oh, you know what, we can fuck with his film. You know, remove that, replace that, reshoot that. Fuck over Chris Terrio and his amazing script, because you know Chris Terrio he does amazing dialogue,
right?
Because he's a well-known Oscar winner, and you know, JL would have had some amazing dialogue delivery. It would have had an amazing story. But there's like, yeah, we can fuck it up. We just, you know, release it, and yeah, I guess Jeff told me, yeah, they thought, right, you know, the fans, they'll see it, they'll eat up, we'll make our money back, and then of course we saw that bullshit instantly. It's like, yeah, no, fuck you, fuck you. We are fine for Zack.
Right.
This is not okay. This was never okay.
No.
So,
Right.
we're gonna fight back. We're gonna hit hard, and be stronger than ever against the bullshit y'all did, and then the bullshit the media did, and
Right.
now we're smarter, we're wiser, and we in like Sucker Punch, we have the tools to fight and we are using them now.
Yes.
So.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And see, brother Jibril, brother Pilly, man, I appreciate y'all. It's late as fuck, and I know y'all want to go to sleep, but man, I really appreciate y'all collaborating with me on this, man. It's something I've been wanting to do for the longest, brother, and and it's amazing. And yeah, it's just great, man, having brothers like yourself, you who are passionate and just always ready to, stand up for what's right and voice your opinion regardless of who likes it or dislike it. And honestly, watching both of you all, you Cap, especially brother Jibril, and you too, brother Pilly, just seeing you all just passionately stand by your beliefs, it's just an inspiration. And like I told multiple people this because I've talked with a lot of people about Zack Snyder's movies. I don't recommend saying you need to watch these movies. I just say these are the movies I like. This is the reason. Yada yada yada. Whoopie woo. And I say his movies always inspire you in some way, in some form or fashion. With BVS or Man of Steel, is to do the right thing regardless of what may be going on in your life or what may be, what backlash you might get. It's always important and integral that you stand up for what's right. WB did Zach a great disservice. They did his family a disservice, and they did us, the fans, a disservice. They left his name on a movie, a corporate, just like as you said, brother Jibril, disgusting movie. They left his name on it in a movie that wasn't his. They expected us to just fall for it. They just let the media create this narrative about what really went on behind the scenes. He brought in Joss Whedon. It was a collaborative effort. Joss Whedon and Zack Snyder were holding hands while making Justice League and drinking lemonade. And we all know this shit is not true. Zack Snyder was one of the first people to say, who is this Russian family in the movie? Because that was what we were all thinking, like, who the fuck is this Russian family? Like, I was like watching the movie, I'm like, why would Zack put a Russian family in this movie? And yeah, man, it's just
the best friends. They say.
Yeah, and I'm like, bro, this just don't make any sense. And then you start, like I repeatedly said, you start hearing and seeing the details about, Gal, Ray, and Jason, I believe, being against the reshoots being more than we initially thought, and only a very small portion of Zack is in the movie, if at all. And it's really sad, man. Again, rest in peace to Adam Snyder, man. This fight for the Snyder Cut should also be, in honor for her as well, I feel. And yeah, man, it's just great to see all of us come together for this moment, because it's about integrity, doing what's right by Zack, doing what's right for the fans, and showing that you give a fuck for the fans. I don't know if either of you watched my video today about Suicide Squad and David Ayer, but I talked about something, a word I'm sure both of you have heard, karma. And karma is very real. WB hasn't been having a great year at all, with not just with their movies, but I'm sure you also saw what happened near their studio last week. And karma is very real.
Yep.
The thing is, they just gotta make it right. And I'm done preaching for right now, so I'll move on. Brother Pilly, I'll start with you, man.
Yes, sir.
And you talked about this a little bit earlier in regards to Cyborg. Each Justice League member had a arc, played a central piece to the overall narrative. We know this, whether that's Superman, whether that's Cyborg, whether that's Wonder Woman, whether that's Aquaman. String shout out to Jason Momoa. Whether that's, Martian Manhunter as we know it. Whether that's Deathstroke, Lex Luthor. Shout out to Jesse Eisenberg. What's your thought on this, each Justice League member having an arc in the movie and playing a central piece to the overall narrative, man?
Man, I loved it. It's good for the fans, you know, and that's good with, like I said, Chris Terrio, his writing ability. But the fans, we all want our piece of it, you know. Like even with the movement, you got the Amazons, you got the girls, you got the Spartans, the Warriors frontlining. Then you got TPZ who goes and talk to Zach and come back and give us the order. You know, each one of us got a role, you know. We all got our different roles in this same thing, but also in life when we come together, and that's what that's supposed to have been, a big come together story. So when we come together in America, you know, blacks, whites, essays, Latino, you know, everybody, Chinese, everybody, when we come together, that we could do a lot of amazing shit. And I think that's what everybody wanted us. I think that's what Zach and everybody involved wanted us to feel. You know, he wanted to highlight everybody's strengths so it can resonate with all the fans, each one of our personal strengths, you know. And then once that happens, once we kind of feel that each one of us has a different strength to offer, when we come together, it can be a lot bigger, you know. And it's like, I keep talking shit about Marvel, but I'm gonna keep doing it because it's a lot better than, you know, you got them, whatever, the Arrow guy, what's his name on him?
Hawkeye.
Yeah, Hawkeye, who don't do shit, and then like who can resonate with Hawkeye? He don't do shit. And then you got Black Widow, who's just like a Russian, I don't know what she is, a little assassin or something, but I can't resonate with that. I can't resonate with Hulk. I guess the white boys and Captain America, sorry Jibril, but what is he, just like a white dude on steroids, or what, you know? What is he? I can't relate. Or fucking Iron Man. I know Iron Man has I guess I can relate better to Robert Downey Jr.'s real life story than I can Iron Man. I can't relate to none of that shit. But, you know, like, think of Superman and Man of Steel. You know, he was going job to job, you know, walking city to city because he couldn't fit in. You know, a lot of us has that issue, you know, or, you know, you got to hold your tongue at work sometimes because you don't want to say what you really say. We have that same issue, you know, we can relate to shit like that. Or, you know, Bruce Wayne, he's fighting back and forth over damn near PTSD. You know, he lost a lot of people in his family, and, you know, he lost Robin. He's been going through all this shit in Gotham where he don't trust anybody anymore, you know, and he just wants to fight now. And shit, I'm sure we can relate to that shit. So I think each character, not only did they show their good part, their superhero part, but it showed their flaws and their weaknesses and shit like that. And I think that grabs more of the fans than just Superman flying around and being happy-go-lucky, you know.
Right.
It grabs more of the fans when you see their flaws, because even though we're on social media, we try to highlight our good parts. We all got flaws, you know. We're all fucked up in certain areas. We've all been fucked up. We've all had issues, you know. But when we, you know, to work through all of that shit and to get through all of our flaws, you feel like a superhero when you do it, you know. Like, you go through shit at home, you go through shit with your girlfriend, but if you still get an A on your test, or you still kill it at work or whatever, you feel good as hell, you know. Like, damn, I went through all of this bad shit and my testimony is fucking stupendous, you know. And that's what they were doing with that Justice League movie, you know. They broke everybody down to their bare bones. Wonder Woman was, you know, she didn't want to do shit. She didn't want to fight because she was still heartbroken from like 40 years ago or 50 years ago or whatever, you know. And I think that's what we all relate to. We relate more to their flaws than we do their superhero characters, because none of us can fly or do no crazy shit like that. But we all had issues, you know.
I did.
Yeah, we've all had issues, bro.
I did. Brother Jibril, man, what's your thought on each Justice League member having a arc playing a central piece to the overall narrative.
Yeah, it's amazing because there's something for everybody. There's so much. There's just so much. There's so much jam packed into this grand and epic story.
Mm-hmm.
And like Billy said, what Zach does. What Zach does with these characters, these DC characters, is stupendous. Like he busts them through these trials. He breaks them down only to put them back up again.
Right.
And that's powerful.
Mm-hmm.
And that's very human, very very relatable to a lot of people. To me, to you, to Billy, to everyone. And it's just incredible. See, with DC characters, you can relate more because even though they're gods among us, they're gods among men, they're the most human characters out there because they're flawed. They have struggles. They're like us. They're humans just with amazing abilities, and that's definitely what the world needs. We definitely need this message of coming together, being united.
Mm-hmm.
Just maintain the hope, and hopefully through our efforts we can make a brighter and more hopeful tomorrow. And that's a really, really great timeless message.
Damn.
Yep.
Well, man, this is the last question. Again, I appreciate you both stopping by, man.
Absolutely.
It's been a ride, man. I'm not gonna reminisce any further. Brother Jibril, man, I'll start with you, man. And you and I have talked about this in the past. Zack Snyder and his movies as a whole have power and are vastly, to me at least, and I know to a lot of people, are vastly underrated. Whether that's a Sucker Punch, whether that's definitely a Watchmen, which to its credit, visually still to this day holds up really well and looks like it came out this year. Just a great movie all around. What's your thought on that, man?
Yeah, no, he doesn't get the praise and respect that he's very much worthy of, because he not only does, like you said, his visual prowess is impeccable, but the way he balances character, story, score, in these amazing set pieces, action sequences, it's like, how the fuck does he do that? Like, it's like he's magic. Like I said, he's a goddamn angel. I swear.
Yeah, he's genuine.
The way he does, legit, like the way he does these films, especially DC films like Man of Steel, Dawn of Justice, Justice League, like all that story, all those characters, how does he do it? It's wow.
Yes.
Wow. And hopefully, I really hope Zach does have his glory moment. Yeah, I really hope he has it, has the respect that he more deserves.
Yeah.
That's my takeaway on that.
Yeah, I agree, man. I definitely agree. Brother Philly, man, what's your thought on Zach and his movies having power and being vastly underrated, man?
Oh yeah, man. I agree. I mean, I think they're only underrated in the media's eyes and the little sheeple eyes, but to everybody else, we know he's the best. You know, he's Michael Jordan of the shit.
Mm.
And the media just they I think they want to talk shit about him because they can't control him. You know, they want him to make like McDonald's double cheeseburgers, but he just too busy making a good T-bone steak. You know, he's not gonna not ever make a T-bone steak. That's just his problem. So they want to keep shitting on him, but at the same time, the fans, they know who's the best. They know Zack Snyder is the shit. You know, even the people, the haters, you know, if I get some Zack crack and I post it and be like, yo, Zack just like this, you can see a damn million people just looked at it, but only like 300 people liked it. But, you know, even the haters, they want to see what Zack is doing because, you know, he just, man, it's hard not to recognize his greatness. You know, it's hard not to. Even with Aquaman made $1 billion, and they were like, Zack helped on it, but you can go watch BVS, and then you can go watch Aquaman, and you'd be like, well, BVS still better, you know?
Yeah.
It's like you can't deny that, man. Zack is the best, dog. It's obvious by now.
Yeah. Like, people ask me, like, every time a DC movie comes out, so what's your ranking? I'll say BVS Ultimate Edition, Man of Steel, everything else. I mean, it's not that I hate the films. It's just that, like I tell people, they resonate with me. They're actually that fucking good, great, even. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. Well, brothers, man, it's been well over an hour. I know y'all got shit to do. I really appreciate y'all collaborating with me on this. Ladies and gentlemen, you have been tuned in with myself, Brother Jibril Ramsey, and Brother Pilly Swain. I will leave a link to Pilly Swain's channel in the description, and I will leave a link to Brother Jibril Ramsey's Twitter in the description. Not his phone number, because that's none of y'all's business. You all continue to support the Snyder Cut. Continue hashtagging it. Continue letting your voice be heard. Thank you all so much for listening, and we will see you all next time.
Yes, sir.